You're watching Nickbox.com. My name is Nick.
And this is my box.
I film these shows every time with just a regular old DSLR camera. So it doesn't have one of those little flippy screens that lets me see what I'm watching. So I came up with this contraption, which mounts quite nicely to my tripod. And that way, I actually get to see what you're seeing, so my framing is okay. One of the things that I've noticed as I've gotten older is that there's this kind of fog and this fuzz inside my brain anytime I try to think, especially when it comes to anything creative. This kind of low humming noise. Anytime I try to focus on anything at all I get is this fog humming sound in my brain that just kind of derails everything. It makes it very difficult to do any sort of writing at all because I have no creative energy left. As a kid, I didn't have that problem. I had tons of thoughts and ideas, and some of them were awful, but some of them were fantastic, which is why I want to write these books. But now, even just trying to write down the stories that I came up with years ago, all I get is this buzz. So I got to wonder, is this just kind of a side effect of getting older? That you stop using your creativity, so that part of your brain kind of shuts down and says, no, you don't need that anymore. There's more important things like the bills and the house and taking care of the cats. Don't forget about the garden. And it seems to me every time I try to focus on any specific single topic, I just kind of lose focus of everything altogether. All these other things start popping into my head and it becomes like a room full of noise. There's so many people just talking and chattering that you can't hear a single conversation going on. Back in the day when I was able to have these creative thoughts and come up with all these ideas, I tended to do my best work in the very, very late hours of the evening. You know, somewhere between 1 o'clock and like 3 o'clock in the morning, that's when I would write the stuff that I considered gold. Mornings really weren't my thing, so I couldn't do any writing then, but it was always that specific time, because like even earlier in the day I couldn't come up with those ideas unless I had a group of people helping me and working with me to come up with these ideas, and then that energy would just kind of bounce off each other. But I've read some studies that have said that teenagers actually have a shift in their biological clock. So the moment when they are the most active and most engaged actually starts later in the day. It's not that they're being lazy, it's just biology. For more information on that, click on the link in the video pans. Hank Green on the SciShow is talking about the teenager brain, and it is absolutely fascinating. So it makes more sense to me that as a teenager, if your day starts later, that you'd be functional later in the day. Now that I have a job that I work banker's hours, it's harder for me to stay up late, though I tend to do it anyway. But it makes me wonder, at what point is my creative hotspot now? When should I actually sit down and put pen to paper, or more specifically, fingers to keys? And what is your creative hotspot? At what point do you feel most functional and your best work happens? Does anybody else have this issue? Does anybody else have a hard time trying to focus and trying to accomplish specific tasks, or is it just me? I'm sure there's somebody out there who knows what I'm talking about. Post your comments below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it. As always, thanks for watching, and thanks for being awesome.